A lot of people ask me about Khabib, and that fight, I want it to happen. Khabib wanted to happen, but UFC did not want to happen.
We've seen you and Khabib
Yes,
approach the UFC with that idea. And Khabib was on board, I was on board, but the UFC had other plans. In a business point of view, it makes sense because I wanted to keep Khabib active because to keep the ball rolling. They knew that I would only come back for maybe one fight. You know what I mean? They rather keep Khabib active, I guess, not taking the risk. And I understand that, and therefore that's why I believe it did not
Ever
materialize.
compete in UFC. If UFC ask me Tony, Conor, or Georges St-Pierre, I'm gonna say Georges St-Pierre.
I was gonna bring him on.
Crazy. This guy was my father's favorite fighter. It's like I grew up watching his fights. It's honor stay with him here, and it's my pleasure, brother.
There you go.
Me, Khabib is one of the scariest. Not only beating you now, he's breaking you mentally. For me, he's the scariest one, pound for pound.
He the guy that you would come back for?
I would have.
Like Khabib,
Right, so
a few years ago, you stick it straight in the center. You would probably anticipate him, I imagine, but you would definitely be a little bit of karate with throwing some of those jabs of yours, but then also maybe even time and try to look for those takes.
UFC legend Georges St-Pierre has revealed shocking details about a potential megafight with Khabib Nurmagomedov, claiming the bout was close to happening and that he was confident he could have defeated the undefeated Eagle of Dagestan, even admitting he expected a call-out from Khabib after his last fight.
the only
with
fight I
Justin
would have
Gaethje.
come back for. And I remember up to his last fight when he fought Justin Gaethje, I was a commentator in sport broadcast, RDS, French sport broadcast. I was doing the commentating, and everybody told me, even in his entourage, they say, be ready because he's gonna call you out. So I thought, I was like, okay, I'm coming out of retirement. I had butterfly. I was like, great. When I thought I was done, they pulled me right back in. So I was like, okay. And then he won. He took his mic and he retired.
In a recent podcast, Georges St-Pierre spoke about the legendary fight that nearly happened with Khabib Nurmagomedov, hinting at the excitement and mystery surrounding it, saying that mentioning Khabib is more than just recalling a reminder of a super fight that could have changed the sport forever and still leaves fans wondering
People
what
ask
might
me
have been.
about Khabib, and that fight, I want it to happen. Khabib wanted to happen, but UFC did not want to happen.
We've seen you and Khabib.
Yes, and we tried to make it like about 3 years ago when I retired. It was after 2 years ago, and it never came to fruition. The UFC were clear. They said they have other plan for Khabib, and it makes sense for the business standpoint because they want to keep the ball rolling.
GSP speaks about Khabib with a mix of fear and deep respect, describing why facing him would have been the ultimate thrill, revealing that for a true fighter it's the toughest challenges that create real excitement, and to him Khabib was that rare unsolved puzzle, making their potential matchup something fans will forever dream about.
Not only beating you now, he's breaking you mentally. For me, he's the scariest one, pound for pound.
He the guy that you would come back for?
I would have. It's over.
You're done?
I'm done. It's 3 years ago. I wanted to come back for Khabib because for a fighter, the scariest thing sometimes is the most exciting thing to do, and problem that never been solved.
On the other hand, Khabib Nurmagomedov shared his thoughts on a dream fight with Georges St-Pierre, hinting at a showdown that could have shaken the entire sport, reflecting on what it would mean to face a legend in New York and create an unforgettable moment for fans, believing it was about testing himself against the very best and building a legacy that would
Inside
last
the
forever.
octagon. That was a name I'm not sure we all were expecting to hear. Why?
I wanna fight with Georges St-Pierre in New York because I hear Georges St-Pierre wanna come to 155 and he can make 155. He wanna become UFC three-time world champion. Why not? If he can make 155, let's go fight in New York. He's greatest athlete ever compete in UFC. If UFC ask me Tony, Conor, or Georges St-Pierre, I'm gonna say Georges St-Pierre. But if we think about Tony deserves too. But hey guys, if you guys remember last time when I pull out, these old guys before when I have injury talking about, hey, you have to stay busy, Now he's pull out, you wanna come back, deserve this title shot. Now only one kick inside the jungle. He have to deserve this. Come back, beat somebody like top 5 and fight for the title.
Georges St-Pierre revealed some behind-the-scenes games that unfolded when talks of a fight with Khabib heated up, hinting at the twists and tricks of the fight business that left fans shocked at how close they came to witnessing this historic matchup. And for Georges, sharing this story offers a rare glimpse into the complicated chess match that happens outside.
So now the UFC, Dana called me, and he's like, "Oh, now would you be interested to fight Khabib?" He asked me because he called me for that reason. I was like, I didn't want to do it, but I told Dana just to see what happened because I was curious. So I didn't say no. I said, okay, let me think about it. And the way Dana talked to me, it was like Khabib already accepted, but it wasn't true. We were both the retirees, so for them it was an opportunity to make a big money fight. So I said I'm gonna think about it. They didn't approach Khabib first. They approached me first to make it happen. It was all BS.
Georges St-Pierre brings up the idea of solving the Khabib puzzle, sparking curiosity about how a legend would handle an unbeaten force, and by hinting at his strategy without revealing too much, he reminds everyone why his fight IQ is on another level. Just talking about his approach highlights the high-level thinking that keeps fans.
How hard do you think he is to take down? I mean, a lot of people speak about his wrestling being just...
It has nothing to do with the wrestling, because
it has to do with the karate.
if I get the timing and I got my both hand around his knees, he's going down. No
Everybody goes down, yeah.
Yes, he goes down. And I had a lot of... that's what I would have done. I would not have been afraid of his wrestling. I would have beat the instigator. I would have forced the fight forward, and that's how I would have approached that fight, which I believe most of his opponents were afraid of his wrestling because they didn't have the tools that I have to put him down. I would not have forced the wrestling. I would have in the clinch. I would have tried to disengage. I have many ways to disengage the clinch. I would have wanted to force the fight in a fighting distance, like in a shoot box distance, not in
Georges St-Pierre talks about what makes facing Khabib such a unique challenge, hinting at the fearless mindset he would have brought to the fight, showing how his confidence and timing could have turned it into a completely different kind of battle, not just a wrestling match. And for GSP, it was about pushing forward and proving he could go toe-to-toe with anyone, even someone as dominant as
the Khabib Nurmagomedov puzzle.
Well, Khabib is very good against the fence. I would have to establish a game plan and everything, but I think what I would need it to do is take the center of the octagon right away. Use a lot of feint and fate. Keep the fight all the way out or all the way in. And when I say all the way in is when you close the gap, use my proactive and reactive takedown and perhaps my superior explosivity to put him down. I like to use those proactive and reactive takedown because for me, I feel it's more economical.
GSP also shares the mindset that made him a legend, revealing his willingness to take huge risks against the very best and hinting at the confidence and self-belief required to step into a fight where anything could happen.
Where is it that I'm actually going to take it? Because the best in the world, when it comes to becoming a world champion, it all comes down to tact.
Well, I don't know. It's easy. I can say whatever I want, but I think Khabib could have beat me. I'm not saying I would have beat Khabib all the time. I was confident enough to take that fight that I was thinking that if I take that fight, I'm gonna beat him that day at that particular place at that particular. That doesn't mean I will beat him all the time, but I was confident. But maybe I'm wrong. I think I would have beat him because in a way that I was going. If he would have come to put pressure on me, I would have put him down. I would have been confident.
Meanwhile, Khabib Nurmagomedov opens up about what a fight with Georges St-Pierre would truly mean, hinting at a battle that goes far beyond fame or money, showing that for him it was all about legacy and testing himself against one of the greatest ever, with every mention of GSP reflecting deep respect, mixed with a hunger to prove something that would echo through MMA history forever.
Middleweight and welterweight champion. Why not? Wow. Why not now? For his legacy and for my legacy, it's very important. If UFC make this fight, for me, it's not easy fight. For him, not easy fight. Everybody know this because, both tough opponents and win streaks, champion versus former champion. He's greatest athlete ever who competed in UFC. My opinion. Inside the cage, outside the cage, he real champ. I know him, I respect him. When I grew up, I watched his fights, But about legacy, it's very important for me. If I beat Conor or if I beat Georges St-Pierre, which one is better for my legacy? We don't talk about money. We don't talk about money. We talk about legacy. I beat George or I beat Conor. Of course, George.
Kamaru Usman also talks about the unique pressure Khabib brings, the kind that slowly breaks even the toughest fighters, hinting at the intense mental battle inside the cage where staying calm becomes nearly impossible, explaining that facing Khabib isn't just about stopping takedowns or landing punches, but about surviving a relentless wave that never lets up and can overwhelm anyone who isn't fully prepared.
It's a slow pressure that he puts on you. Even though, especially in the fight, like you mentioned, the Michael Johnson fight, even though like you're hitting him, boom, 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 you're landing clean shots, but it's a slow pressure. He's still there. He might back up because you hit him with a couple of shots, but he comes back. He's there, and we're locked inside a cage. So over time, you can't run too far. He's there, he's level changing, he's there to where, all he needs is that one. Put you up against the fence, jump in there, get that chain wrestling. Now he starts to go to work because the whole time you've been training for, I need to stay off the cage.
Yeah.
I need to not go down. And so once you do go down, if you're not mentally strong enough to know, okay, I'm going to get up, just a floodgate.
Georges St-Pierre shares a moment when he truly felt the tension, thinking Khabib might call him out after a big win, and just mentioning Khabib brings out that rare mix of fear and excitement only true warriors understand, because for GSP, facing someone like Khabib wouldn't just be another fight, it would be the ultimate test, the kind that stays in the history books.
Like everybody else, after Justin Gaethje, I was doing the commentator in French for the UFC, and I asked Butterfly, I thought he was going to call me out. If there's one guy that I would have said yes, it would be him, because for a fighter, the most exciting things to do, it's often the scariest one. And Khabib was worth
the scariest matchup.
Yes, but he was worth the risk because nobody has ever been able to solve them.
During a recent podcast with Henry Cejudo, Georges St-Pierre explained what makes Khabib such a nightmare to face, hinting at the clever tricks and traps Khabib sets for every opponent, and showing why facing him is more than just a fight, a mental puzzle few can handle. And according to GSP, this is exactly what makes Khabib stand out as one of the most dangerous fighters of all time.
Khabib, he's got a very good overhand right. He's very good at measuring distance and at creating a dilemma in the mind of his opponent between a takedown and an overhand right. Sorry for the right. Yeah. And he's very good. He's at his most dangerous when he put you with your back against the fence, because he's a master at chain wrestling.
Georges St-Pierre talks about how his style stands apart from Khabib's, hinting at the wild, unpredictable battle their fight could have become, showing the confidence and sharp strategy that made fans believe he could challenge anyone. And for Georges, it was about more than tactics. It was about proving he could meet Khabib head-on in a way no one else dared to
My
try.
style is more in the middle. I'm very good at using fakes and creating distraction to get in your legs. I'm more at the dynamic guy. I call it proactive and reactive takedown from the center. But Khabib is better when he's got his opponent his back against the fence. So my strategy, if I would have gone against Khabib, would be to keep the fight most as I can in the middle and not being afraid to go for taking down. I think I would have maybe be the first guy that he fought, or one of the only first guy that would have tried to put him down. And I've put down everybody that I've.
Meanwhile, Khabib Nurmagomedov spoke about facing Georges St-Pierre as the ultimate challenge, hinting at a clash between two of the greatest to ever step into the cage, teasing a battle where both would be pushed to their absolute limits and create a moment fans would remember forever.
Of all time, it's my opinion. Even if we fight, I think it's gonna be very tough matchup for me, and I think for him too. Because I never lose round in UFC. And I think I can give him very tough match. I know you guys love him, but when cage close, I have to smash my opponents.
Georges St-Pierre further discusses the major differences in style between himself and Khabib, hinting at the unique tools he would have brought to such a fantasy fight, explaining why his approach is so special and why fans continue to talk about these dream matchups, emphasizing that it's not just about wrestling or power, but about perfect timing and turning every skill into a hidden weapon that catches opponents by
Chain wrestler than me. Chain wrestler is when you get the guys to the fence, it's pure wrestling. What makes my takedown very efficient? It's my karate. It's not my wrestling. I'm very good at timing my opponent and getting in with my explosivity. So if you watch at my takedown, does not demand often. It does not demand a lot of work when I use I call it proactive takedown. When he's coming to punch me and I react. So I mean, proactive is when I'm faking it. So I instigate the takedown by a fake, then I take it down. And reactive is when I'm baiting him to throw something, then I'm
It's a counter. Yeah.
Georges St-Pierre shares his thoughts on the unique styles each fighter brings, sparking excitement about how a match with Khabib might have looked by hinting at possible game plans and wild exchanges, painting a picture of a fight full of surprises, imagining it as the ultimate test of skill and heart, one that would live on in fans' imaginations forever. So guys, please subscribe to my channel for more updates and news.